Hello and welcome to the episode 3 of the Next Level Animal Care podcast. So this is our diary podcast from Staffordshire College about our integration of the new T level in animal care. It's a warts and all account of what we're doing each week. So I just wanted to start this week by talking about learning numbers, because we've started with a group of 28 and we're now down to a group of 26. And I think it's fair to say that recruitment across the sector has probably been one of the biggest challenges for most colleges. What I feel is a challenge that we've possibly undertaken with our program is we have put together the T level. We've got two groups, but we would normally have 4 or 5 level 3 technical qualifications in animal care. So the City and Guilds 540 qualification. This year we're running 2 groups of 540 and 2 groups of T level. We've not changed our pedagogy and our structure and approach to the 540. So in essence, we've got a 3-day potential 3 A-level equivalent qualification in the technical qual, and we've also got 2 groups of the T-level. So we have lost one of our T-level learners to the notion of doing 3 days in college rather than 4 days, and there is some backstory to that individual learner as to why they felt that was better for them and their well-being. So we completely supported that, and we've transferred them over. Equally, we've lost a learner who has decided to completely change subject area and go to another college which is closer to home. And again, I think we get that every year in almost every subject area that we do. So I don't think that's particular to how we're running the T level, but I think it's safe to say that we are in the first 42 days of the qualification getting some question marks from learners about whether they are on the right course. And as we are still going through the process of learning this qualification and undertaking it, I think those question marks will probably remain for some time. We've had some queries from a learner who isn't a T-level learner, but they're concerned as to why they didn't want to join the T-level and have ultimately gone on to the 540 program, is that currently universities aren't offering the T-level on their websites as part of their entry requirements. But we all know in the sector that this is something that will change. But you know what? As a dad, plotting, an educational route for my daughter or my son, then I can completely understand the parental position of not necessarily, until it's up on those university websites, having complete faith that the course that they're on is going to get them to the university choice of the university course of their choice. So again, I think the T level has begun. We know that the higher education sector will increase its recognition, particularly as they start to consider that they'll have graduates of T level programs in animal care in summer of 26. So I would anticipate that the UCAS information that we get this time next year will be heavily publicised around what the T-level entry requirements would be onto courses. I don't think we're going to see that before then. And equally, I'm not going to stand up in front of parents and try and persuade them otherwise, because I think there would be an element of falsitude in that. And that's part of the reason why we are just doing the behaviour pathway. We are not doing the animal science pathway, because for me, there's too many question marks around some of the big vet schools as to whether they're going to accept that T level. And clearly, that would be one of the routes that we would offer as a potential career path. We've got another T-level learner who is on the fence at the moment between staying on T-levels with us or going and studying A-levels because they want to go down the potentially go down the veterinary route. And we're supportive of that. But from our IAG and initial assessments with that learner, they would stand a better chance of getting into a vet school at this stage if they go into A-levels, because the path hasn't been trodden. Hasn't been trodden. That's not a word. The path hasn't been walked yet, has it? So there's not that clear pipeline between the T-level and what you can ascend to in HE, even though we all predict that those pathways will become clear. I'm working from home today, so I'm not walking around the zone, but I have put my background as a picture of one of our new cotton top tamarins. So that's the animal to spot today. But like I say, I want this to be a reflection of what's going well and the challenges that we face. So I think there are some challenges at the minute of making sure that the learners that we've got on the T-level are the right learners. They're going to stay the 2 years because it's a 2-year enrolment and you leave with nothing if you leave halfway. So we're making sure that we've got the right learners on the right course. We have, in addition though, had 2 inquiries from different colleges to come and do the T-level. So we've got 2 learners coming next Tuesday for a trial day. So this podcast next week I may be talking about additional numbers. So let's talk about what we've done in the classroom this week. So this week we built on initially from the core pathway aspect. We've built on within that anatomy and physiology. We built on the circulatory system, diving deeper into the structure and function. Particularly the heart and the blood vessels. The learners have had the opportunity to really understand how blood flows through the heart, through the chambers, and its critical role that it plays in keeping animals alive and healthy. We also explored different types of circulatory system, including closed, open, single, double circulatory system, just so that we're helping the students to recognize those adaptations across different species. Because fundamentally that's the difference between just mammalian biology, but also taking it out into other species types. So to push their understanding even further, we've introduced a circulatory system revision pack. This is homework for the learners. So even though they're on a 4-day course, we're still giving homework to give them the opportunity to test their knowledge, revise what we've learned, confidence score themselves. I think this is something that we do really well in the animal care department, is asking the learners to RAG rate themselves, and as part of us triangulating their progress. So yeah, we've got them to confidence score themselves so that we can make sure that their knowledge is secure before we move on. So we did a lot of that, really locking down the circulatory system, and both groups responded really well to that. In the more project-based learning that we've been doing, so we're contextualizing at the minute in a healthcare setting, so a veterinary practice or rehab centre, those kind of facilities. But we have been particularly looking at employment rights and responsibilities, how to be an effective team player. So whether students end up working in a veterinary practice, a zoo, or another animal-related field, it's an absolutely crucial skill. And it was exciting to see those students again working together, building on the work that they did together last week, and really responding well to team-based exercises, sharing ideas, carrying out the tasks. Because we know that cooperation, communication are some of those really essential skills that are important across the animal care sector. I started doing my light cast review of essential skills as part of the curriculum planning process for next year. And teamwork, cooperation, communication are the highest ranked skills in the West Midlands in the animal care sector for us. So that's clearly what employers are asking for. It's what we're focusing on. So we talk about the practical side of things this time this week. Our learners been really hands-on in animal care. Group A focused on rabbits this week, so learning how to handle them safely, perform health checks, provide preventative care like checking for common health issues, dental checks, those kind of things. And actually, the work that the T-level learners did last Friday with the rabbits highlighted to us that we needed to put in more of a handling rota with some of the high volume animals on the animal zone. So Group B also worked with rodents. They did the same things, same essential skills, checking fur, checking teeth, overall assessing health, to give them just that small hands-on approach to health checking that we clearly see in the professional setting and sector. But going back to it, some of the rabbits on Friday got a little bit nippy. So from a welfare perspective, have created a more robust handling rota that all staff have now been issued, so that we are handling certain groups of animals, Group 1 or Group 2, on alternate days, and we're going to follow that through the weekends and the holidays as well. So when people come and do our junior keeper or adult keeper experiences on the zoo, that the animals always get a day off, because the animals themselves they've had 6 weeks summer, and the introduction of 600 learners back onto the animal zone has obviously created some stress. So in the first couple of weeks, we've noticed that our bite record and our near misses have gone up. So again, we're having to respond to that. Animal welfare is priority number one, and so it should be. So we have put in some new protocols, which I will also update as we go through this. So then the other thing is, and so part of the reason why it came out in discussion with the T levels, we'd had this bite, we looked at the near miss register and the bite register, and we put it up, and we were already looking at risk assessments and health and safety practices. So it was brought out of the conversation with the T level learners that actually one of the things we can do to improve our welfare on the animal zone, and the health and safety, and minimise the risk to the students and the keepers and the public, was to put this handling rota in place. So they've been conducting risk assessments, they've been keeping themselves and animals safe in the setting, and then they've been doing some manual handling training, very hands-on, where they learned really about the safest way to move heavy equipment, because again, that is an essential part of the job, having that physicality. And then we also started to move that on into biosecurity measures and what biosecurity aspects will we have in place. Now, obviously, we're project contextualizing this for a veterinary surgery, but equally we've been showing them how we protect biosecurity in our isolation facility and at different parts of the animal zone. So I suppose looking ahead to next week, we're starting to allude around medication, administering medication, how to store it properly, so the COSH aspects to it, legal responsibilities involved, and sort of explore how different medications work for various types of animals and how these should be applied safely in treatments. So again, contextualizing all of that for, it easily lends itself to a veterinary setting as part of our project-based learning, but equally, we're going to be able to get the learners to see how we do it on the animal zone. So it should you know, have the project-based learning, but contextualized to our own processes as well. So it's going to be another jam-packed week. That's the fun bit. And we've also got some guest speakers for the learners. Unfortunately for them, one of them is me. But they're also going to be learning all about CPD on the animal zone and how we identify what training the keepers need or the instructors, and where we go to book that training and all of the facets behind that. So thanks again for joining me for this week's episode of the my T-level diary. I hope you enjoyed this sneak peek into our week and the progress that our students are making. Be sure to subscribe and like and share this podcast with anyone who might be interested in this exciting new qualification. And yeah, I'll be back next week with more updates. But until then, I'll see you soon. Bye.